So rehearsal and practice can pay huge dividends. You might spend weeks putting together the content, and if you don't rehearse it, it might fall flat. And early in my journey, I used to make the mistake. Until the last minute, I was creating the slides, and an hour before the presentation, I was updating them. So I used to always push rehearsal to the end. There was also a mental resistance. But like what I follow now is, even if the content is 60% ready, I take those slides and start speaking once, because that when I rehearse, the flow becomes clearer, and my slides also are updated based on the flow. So if you can get to 60 to 70%, that's good enough to start practicing. And at least 3 times standing up and speaking the same way you would do is a minimum. If you can do 5-6 times, it takes it to a different level. So to memorize or not, so I think this is not a big question from most of you. A lot of people try to wing it without much of rehearsal, which is what I told that a lot of people make that mistake. That is not optimal. Second is talking through a set structure. A third one, the other extreme, is memorization following an exact script. So this can be dangerous, and for most of the talks, that is not needed. What is suggested is number 2, think through a set of bullet points, and as you rehearse it, that is sufficient. You don't have to memorize, you have to rehearse it. So then you will start remembering, your thoughts will start getting connected, and then when you look at few bullet points on the slide, you will be able to connect it well. The only exception to this was my TEDx talk, where I had to memorize the entire script. So if you wake me up in the middle of the night and you had asked me and told me one line in between, I could have continued from the next line. So that was the level of memorization I did over 3 to 4 months for my TEDx talk, which was 10 minutes. So that is a kind of preparation, but that anyway, I've talked more in detail about it in my blog on how to make a TED talk. So rehearse, like I mentioned, can't be emphasized enough. And one quick example for the TEDx talk, there were 2 important guidelines. One, try to stick within the red dot for various logistics purposes also. And number 2, they have a timer which is ticking down. So I thought it is okay, but first time I rehearsed at home, I put up the laptop, set down a timer, and started talking. But to my surprise, I was just not able to focus. So with a timer counting down, it was so distracting. And I did this multiple times to get over that mental block. So which is why thinking through how the room looks or what the situation is going to be, all of it helps. And this is the layout of the place where I presented the TED talk, about 1,500 capacity stadium, and 2 levels. So after I had done all the preparation a day prior, we had a full dress rehearsal. So there they had a speaking coach. The person said, okay, it's not sufficient to look at people, but there are 2 decks. There's one set of people on the top. You need to be looking at them also and look down. So those kind of variations will be there. Each of it improves the effectiveness.